Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Cole. It's good to be back before the Rules Committee. There is a long and bipartisan history of Congress doing what is necessary to prevent the statutory Pay-As-You-Go Act from jeopardizing important programs with mindless across-the-board cuts. Congress has enacted bipartisan legislation that has shifted or wiped clean PAYGO balances to avert these sequestration cuts more than 30 separate times during the law's since the law's inception, including 5 times in the last 3 years alone. Even in the wake of contentious legislative battles like the 2017 GOP tax scam, we put the well-being of the American people first and joined Republicans to prevent sequestration. Democrats voted with Republicans to avoid harmful across-the-board cuts, despite our opposition to the reconciliation tax cuts that overwhelmingly benefited wealthy individuals and powerful corporations. The next year, Congress separately wiped the scorecard in the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2018, with 73 House Democrats, myself included, voting with the Republican majority. It's one of the few consistent actions Congress has taken, regardless of who is in the majority. And that's because statutory PAYGO has never been an effective tool of fiscal policy. Not only is it ineffective, but it also endangers vital programs, including Medicare, farm supports, social services, and resources for students and individuals with disabilities. Some programs would be eliminated if statutory PAYGO is implemented. So it's not hard to see why Congress has always intervened and why we must do so again now. The legislation before you today, the Protecting Medicare and American Farmers from Sequestration Cuts Act, is simply a repeat of legislation we have passed many times before. To be clear, statutory PAYGO requirements cannot be changed in reconciliation bills. We cannot do this on our own, and the clock is ticking. Congress has never allowed the statutory PAYGO sequester to take effect. Remind you, never allowed statutory PAYGO sequester to take effect, and this time should be no different. The sequestered programs have not changed. Congress's support for the programs has not changed. The program's importance in the lives of American families has not changed. And the urgent need for bipartisan action to prevent these senseless and debilitating cuts has not changed. And let me respond to my Republican friends' comments about why we are doing this. And why are we tying this action, which we agree is necessary, to the debt limit? The reason is because Republicans in the United States Senate have decided to take one of the most irresponsible positions that anyone has ever taken in the history of the Congress, and that is we cannot let the United States government default on its debt, but we are not going to do anything to keep that from happening. That's purely and simply the reason we are doing this today. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions and discussing the legislation. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr.